FlyQuest.
I'm super surprised at how the narrative has shifted completely just based on this veto.
I just like how FlyQuest looked on Nuke recently. Like, give a shout out to Yanko, by the way, on Twitter. He broke it down. But yeah, their Nuke looks pretty good, actually.
Well, there we go. The casters are now changing their minds. Sorry, the analysts are changing their minds. I wonder how the casters are feeling coming into this.
I think there's very valid points about this, uptick in belief with FlyQuest on Nuke. I think Maui said it best. They're vetoing based on numbers, Mo, maybe not on what's actually happened in Shanghai. In the heat of the moment, FlyQuest looking to seize the day. MIBR, though, obviously featuring Insani, highest-rated player at this stage of the major outside of the MongolZ players. So maybe sometimes it's just that star-studded performance that stops them. Time to find out. It's top 16 on the line and an instant opening for MIBR. Ooh. All the teammates and all the team play in the world can't save you from that kind of a ferocious start.
Yeah, that's basically everybody getting a kill right there. Exit, the last one to need to contribute. What a team he's got behind him. 3 instant entries, everybody goes down. And yeah, it's definitely true that FlyQuest had such a strong Nuke. Their mid-rounding is definitely better, but yeah, it could come down to a player like Insani, who is standing so high and far above the rest right now.
Yeah, best player in the server.
Yeah, he wins like 3 or 4 rounds by himself in good matches because he has such an explosive play style, amazing multis, but MIBR will hopefully need a little bit more than that because FlyQuest might be, the most improved team at this point. We're looking at a roster here who were 0-2 down on the first day, obviously, and everybody knew that wouldn't mean they would simply win their next game.
Or 2-0 up, you mean?
2-0 up, sorry. And then they wouldn't win their next game, just guaranteed. And when they lost to Liquid, they're like, okay, they have another couple of chances. But here we are on day 4. I think a lot of people could see this happening, but we got to say, this is definitely their best chance.
The fact that Drop just kind of scoffed at the idea of FlyQuest being well prepared for the series when Paula was interviewing him on the stage. A bit of a smirk and just kind of total self-belief, of course, that him and his team are going to just maybe perhaps even trounce the FlyQuest squad.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at MIBR, I just think scary.
Yeah.
Sani, MongolZ, it's scary.
Full-blown exec comes in versus the force buy of FlyQuest with a 5v4, but it's a good hut smoke. It's well-timed, as is an opening of the main smoke to get a little damage in. So they tried to just pop in. They tried to see what's up. Instead, sent back for a second. That's fine, 50 seconds, but very interesting position here from Alistair. Ooh, boy. Nice peek deep. Yes, sir. And he's already gotten the dink onto Drop. So this is huge from Alistair, trying to get more from it. Can't.
That's kind of job done, I want to say. They're coming back with 4 players, but you got the 5-7 still upstairs. 2 players could get 1 tag dropped. They just kind of have to believe in the damage right now, because look at the positions.
1 smoke to try and get back into A-site with. Drop could put that on main to hopefully section off the scout. Good damage versus Liaz. That nade, though, misses.
Oh, it doesn't go in.
If it had entered that doorway through the threshold, it could have been. Vexite doubles back. He's got a player up in heaven, too. Come on, the force. It's almost there, but it's not quite finished. Ince with the scout gets a chance, missed no scope. USP finishes MongolZ, and there's the exit from Drop. Able to get back into the hut. Scout falls down from heaven.
It was just called. Drop's going to take some kind of early peek because he's low. Inz, will he be able to figure this situation out?
No kit.
Oh, the door's open, so he has to respect it. Drop goes near T roof here. He's just...
Doesn't even bite.
Wow.
Doesn't even bite. Calls out the fake. Ince unable to get the wall bang. Gonna have to go back for it. And now there's just a question of, does he expect there to be a quick kit? And because there isn't, there's no stick. Ince unable to finish this one off. MIBR, it's costly, but it's a pistol conversion nonetheless.
And Drop gets the kill. Oh boy. That got about as scary as it could get. And with the 2.57s upstairs, I was thinking that's it. But it ended up being 1 player to get 2 kills, 1 to get none. Alistair's first dink and second frag on that timing could have been a disaster for MIBR, but they've got a way out of the situation. They've got FlyQuest back on pistols. This is why no one wants to go to day 4.
Trying to rush in with the flash to catch anything. Any other damage, I think, still just going to be so valuable with the way that the previous round unfolded. And these MAC-10s, expendable. Comes down from heaven to clear the board. All the while, Bomb, of course, setting its eyes down on the B site. So team play and rotations, is that enough for FlyQuest as the gun rounds are about to get going? You'd be a fool not to expect Insani to continue the form he's brought forward in Shanghai thus far. But hang on. Oops. Very late pause here for MIBR, making sure that nobody goes down in the process. And so be it.
It's looking like the right thing to do.
Yeah. Eventually, you will find these last couple. Alistair actually ahead of the Molotov. Maybe he could blindside exit.
Yeah, I mean, exit thought he had a gap here. Surely he doesn't clear this, right? Okay, there. He takes. Oh, he still dies. Not too shabby.
Yeah, that's something to work with.
Okay. You see how slow and respectfully that MIBR are moving around the map, even with just no armor buy coming out from FlyQuest. I mean, FlyQuest have shown me a lot of confidence in their plays and their teamwork and their tactics. Their individuals have shone so far. I mean, even though we're at a point where they've lost 2 best-of-3s, in those games they had some really good moments. Their game versus Liquid, their first map was amazing. Obviously, yesterday was possible for them to win too. You know, we can't deny that. And so, I don't know, if it comes to who's got more pressure, it might feel like for FlyQuest to be more embarrassing to, you know, to go up 2-0 and to end up in this spot. And there's also, it's them alone representing an entire region, whereas MIBR, they are one of 3 teams in this stage.
First gun.
2 of which have already got through.
MIBR really looking to take the place of Imperial, who were able to establish top 16 last major. Obviously didn't do it this time. So there is a spot open for that 3rd Brazilian success story in Shanghai to continue to be the most represented country at the major. Liaz pressured by the util here. First player gets out. Oh, wow.
Nailed.
So much contact across the map, we don't even get to see it all. Insani gets a double kill outside. Main players dropped. And poor Vexite just stuck on top of Hut looking for anything to pull back, but it does not seem likely. Alistair creeping forward. MIBR reading this, but not able to take down the Aussie Opper.
This lurky playstyle is just yielding so many opportunities. Every single player from the FlyQuest have been hoodwinked right here. They've just been shot in the side, confused. They don't know how far MIBR have gotten off to in a lot of spots. Alistair's somebody who has been hard to catch off, though. He'll at least find a place to save. Bomb's going to get planted. Slow crawl here from MIBR.
Yep.
I mean, if a team is going to come at you with a contact style on T side and spread out a lot, that's when it warrants multiple ops or having positions like, I think like back big garage in a spot like this, and the team who's going to walk wrap heaven very often is a great spot to play. Starting secret, just to sort of plug that hole right at the beginning of the round, because you can come out late, clear back red, clear silo, clear top mini, and clear Africa all at the same time with one player. If you have an op who can play ramp and then rotate outside, they're pretty safe if you've got someone on the big garage cross. And if they get spread out like that, you could get punished by inner rushes, for example. But if you've got a read on what MIBR are going to try to do, you think you're going to stick to that style, I think you want to spread out a little bit more and try to cut them off and shoot them in the side of the head.
We'll see if they pull a second one out when they can get back to affording it. But as far as the first gun rounds go, absolutely trounced. Not even a chance to stop MIBR from the outer play. So thus far, drops confidence, well earned. MIBR showing an affinity as well for just kind of slowing these moments down. It's fast to get into the initial position, but we saw how cautious they were in their anti-eco. So really minimizing mistakes, coming out with some very strong momentum on a T side of Nuke. And at the moment, we'll see some MP9s added in. It's aggressive stance from Alistair. Missed shot at a save, despite Shadow advantage, but then there's no trade. Liaz attempts to hard swing out. Lukowski's able to manage with the double spray down, and that is MIBR dealing with a 4v5 in an instant transition back to the advantage, and of course, open routes towards ramp. They don't pounce on that though, right? I think this is, again, another moment where MIBR realize there's some rocky waters caused by FlyQuest, doing a good job of grouping themselves back up together. We can talk about the firepower of MIBR versus the team play of FlyQuest, but right now, every member of MIBR seem to be operating on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, the game plan's clearly working, so it's not just the individual level, but this Deagle's looking good. 2v2 now.
Everyone's got a plan until the Deeg slaps you upside the head. So beautiful comeback for Inst to make something more of this round. And that couples so nicely with the original 4 versus 5 that Alistair was able to establish with that op. And the MP9s have rotated down into the correct positions. 30 seconds to the clock. These AKs looking to get into the bomb site with 2 smokes down. Double doors seems problematic, but Dexter looks like he wants to pounce on this at a moment's notice. Unfortunately for him, Vexite went back upstairs, indicating the uncertainty here for FlyQuest. His spam through smoke is off the mark, and now MIBR more comfortable. Slightly. They've still got to get off site, and the smoke's now fading, forces that issue. Excite's got this top position, easily held for him. The trade's good. They do what they have to. Ince is the X factor of the double deagle, but MIBR go up 5-0, and to that, there is no stress.
Yeah, and they were slithering back into a perfect post plan. FlyQuest had to launch an attack at that moment, but there was really no way that they could get a better case situation out of those guns. It was just a little too difficult. So 5-0 start for MIBR. Now we want to see how FlyQuest are going to adapt. And I think this might be the perfect round to call something faster and harder upstairs, where FlyQuest might be more concerned about trying to stop lurks. You see already they're spreading out with 2 players in big garage, but Insani gets caught off guard. Vexite picks one off as well. And that will help out. Was that somebody running out of Squeaky?
Either that or, yeah, it must have been. It's a death inside of the A site, so not only this
in the hut or in running out of Squeaky. It's hard to tell exactly. Yeah,
there we go.
So Vexite just took a wide swing on that, and that will take the edge off. I mean, suddenly it doesn't matter what your setup is, but
that was a crazy approach from Insani outside, right? Just kind of jumping over little blue box.
I think it was a crazy approach, not because of the tactic, but I think because of the timing of the tactic.
Okay.
I think that right now FlyQuest are extremely concerned about outside.
Right.
And I think like a delayed take on it, late cross smokes and maybe no one even crossing sort of thing into ramp hit would have been something to catch FlyQuest off guard based on the conditioning they put down in this half so far, where they have made it very outside focused, very lurky, and very individualistic in terms of all the positions they're trying to dig into. So I'm not surprised to see FlyQuest immediately trying to get some value out of their op outside early on. So I don't know, not exactly sure what the idea was with the hut play as well.
Feels like it's yo, we're 5-0 up, let's keep this up.
Yeah.
Hang on though, Dexter, poor guy.
And you know what? I think that's actually the right idea. I think that was just the wrong call.
Okay.
So like, I would have done something more grouped inside, because I think that would be the least likely stack. Like after the rounds that we've seen, if you were FlyQuest, would you be playing 2 ramp, 1 boosted up? Probably not, right?
You would have been ready for something outdoors, and you get it right out of the gate.
Yeah, and if you were the op, you'd most likely be supporting a push outside or opping by yourself outside, like we just saw. So we'll see. Obviously, it can be a matter of MIBR realizing that they know that and making it a game of chess.
We'll see if they try to keep up that same outer tempo, or whether the one shot from Alistair last round slows it down a bit. Alistair again looking to just support Ince for a second, peels back very deep.
Let's see.
Now maybe reading more of an interplay.
Yeah, see this? No one outside now. Now they feel like they got their last round.
Right.
MIBR will change it up now. I think MIBR changed it up. Oh, a little late. However, Drop gets that spam.
That is...
Thing is, there's still 2 players upstairs, right? This would be the normal thing to have.
It's one of those gut-wrenching deaths for FlyQuest, facing the prospect of a one-off round win. Vexite stays up into the rafters. Ince looks to support it from back vent. And MIBR just going to hit the pause button for a second. You can usually anticipate Vexite top hut. He looks to change it up, and Ince is actually going to play inside of it.
The value of playing here is that you don't have to worry about Squeaky if you are defended from behind, especially if there's some attention taken away from you. And Inz, if they don't go heavy enough towards hut, he can push through. So I think the setup is great if you feel the exec is coming.
And here it is.
And they never volley hut because they have to run through it.
CT Molly ahead of him. He's looking for the push, and are they going to keep an eye on it? Because right now, Heavy Squeaky, they go out, and they're dropping right into Liaz. He's not able to hold it, though. It's 4 players strong downstairs. They just charge in, and a missed shot from Alistair. That's a disaster. If Liaz goes down empty-handed, it all falls on Alistair. From 0 to 100, MIBR throw out something different. The hut play could have worked if A's the intended target, but they just throw 3 bodies downstairs.
The call is actually really nice for MIBR because they go for the hut setup. It's not an upper hit. It was just a full drop. Thing is, Liaz doesn't seem to get that communication in time. He hears them dropping in the vent, but I think he's still caught off guard by the speed of it. And I think to him, the last thing he heard, based on him walking towards the back of the vent, is get ready, it's probably going to be an upper hit. So he was going to move into sitting at the bottom of the vent, staring up, waiting for them to cross, seeing if he can get involved in that.
Instead, MIBR come dogpiling down on him, and who leads that charge? The red-hot Insani.
Yeah. I mean, full credit there. I thought MIBR were going to go do something upper after getting their 1 kill, and they read the adjustment on the setup perfectly. There were 2 players staring at hut. Mini guy wasn't even alive, right? Or was it Alistair wrapped around back up to heaven? Yeah, so Alistair had gone over towards ramp as we saw him rotate down, and Ince, who was in mini, went to vent for a second and then ends up being the hut player. Vexite takes heaven to keep eyes outer. Yeah. So definitely kind of peeling back from what was a more forward setup out of the gate. Tough, but this is honestly super impressive level coming out of MIBR. Definitely. Adaptations, keeping it fresh. I mean, we haven't seen anything looking redundant as of yet. The 1 round they end up losing, maybe they got a little too crazy. I mean, it's 1 out of 7 plays. There is it's its own challenge to keep winning in a sense. Like, of course, keep it fresh every single time. Yep. So if that's the one sort of misread in this map, write it off. They've had an exceptional game. And here they go barreling out towards Squeaky. There's a fight offered for Dexter. He does indeed win one. First frag of the map for Dexter. Alistair's op preemptively inside of the A site, and now a layer of utility goes down, but the T's look to keep the tempo up. You may be down 3v5, but there's a door to be reopened, or so there was. Oh no, Alistair! Man, losing the duel at a distance. Luckily for him, Ince inside Garage. But Ince doesn't pounce, and that lets Insani get away. This is the scary part about playing here. It's hard to move sometimes, especially don't know what's going on outside. They could be spotting you from top silo. He's looking for a lurk timing. I don't know. Did he see drop? I think so. Calling another player in, but the main player. The shoulder spot is not good. Oh, he still wins the duel. Ince caught out, and it's a nice double here from Vexite. 3 kills on the round as he was able to hold hut once again. And in the 2 rounds where we see FlyQuest pick them up, it's Vexite doing his job, at least holding back this A hit. All right, this kicks off with Dexter. And it's just a 1-2 here. Vexite really guaranteeing that they weren't able to transition into what was looking like a kind of Squeaky into A, picking up the pieces from the 2 early deaths of MIBR. And we see something of a limitation here. MIBR, Mac 10, Tech 9. They've been having their way throughout this T side, but FlyQuest are on the brink of being able to put up some CT rounds. It's this one, a key turning point perhaps, and an invitation to come towards ramp as Liaz goes for his reload, spotted, and he knows it, so he fades away.
Insani remains by red in a sea of smokes, and Ince on the other end of this. This is a critical pickup where Insani has a disadvantage and he doesn't even see him. So the CT keeps his head down, and for the third time, FlyQuest able to post a 5v3 in the opening 30 seconds of a round.
We do have the group up here towards lower, and Alistair has this hard line on the right side of ramp. Liaz has given up this space at the moment. They're giving up a lot of control. No peaks coming in just yet, but you know what? No smokes.
Flash is enough to get Alistair back. Baits out the second.
Alistair.
That miss could set up Dexter, if not for exits. Clean headshot up top. And now, all of a sudden, the two previous 5v3s converted. This one, now under question. Safe, hiding inside of vents. With a CT up above him. Vexite eventually going to have to come down if this retake is to truly be attempted. I mean, Liaz still over towards control, unfortunately with no grenades to try and get himself into this bomb site. That's all waiting on what In sees. So as he comes down ramp looking for contact back site, it's a good hold behind the column. Lukowski comes out with superb timing, a double kill, and Vexite never even gets a chance to come play. A 3v5 from MIBR.
Why does that happen? Because technically, it was as if there was no one downstairs. If we look at what occurred as soon as they walked into the ramp, no one challenged him from control side. Alistair, when he didn't get his chance on the right side of ramp, had no way to find another opportunity to fight. If they had played more committed positions, if you had someone challenging from control side and Alistair fighting from the back of the site, yes, they could have died in that spot, but they're the ones who are up 5 players. Once they gave up the full control of the site, they're in a retake, right? You don't need that many players to win in a post-plant situation. Half the job there for FlyQuest was just to be a little bit more aggressive and not be worried about the fact that there's 3 players coming into ramp. When you have the op on the line, when you have control of control side, it should not be that easy to plant.
One missed shot, all Alistair ends up allowing, and that one missed shot opens the door wide.
Alistair's always going to be that player, man, where he can have such impressive rounds, but it doesn't matter, man. Just win the important rounds, right? Like, shots like that are everything. It makes up for all of the analysis of the rest of the things that went wrong. Hit the shot in control. Yes, it's last second, but then it's 2v5. It's all good.
Man, another proactive move from MIBR. Completely different look as they go 4 players down secret. We saw last round where their economy was low. Obviously, that chance, that best opportunity for FlyQuest to break them has gone. FlyQuest themselves, majority SMGs and down to bare bones nades already. Secret positioning, stopped at least from following through downstairs, but where do MIBR go now? It's a playground outer for them. No contest, no confirmation of any information for FlyQuest. So they decide to get active. Dexter getting up into the lobby. If you don't have outer, take inside. And if he clears all these corners, Exit's going to get blindsided. That's at least a kill to reclaim and 2 tag targets in Insani and Lukowski. But this fast clear into the lobby could very well catch them off. Drop is forced in. And that means bomb forced down. It's going to have to be scooped up soon enough. They lose Insani, the little that was left of him, and it looks like FlyQuest have got their answer. Just able to stop them downstairs, and it primes the FlyQuest players to get a little active. They are on damage control. It is about making as much of this half as possible with 5 rounds max, and remaining active in a round like that, you got to give it a little praise.
Definitely. They closed the gaps with some of the worst guns there coming into lobby. They did it before MIBR had made it back inside. I like the staging of the round from MIBR to try to abuse the fact that it's a low buy on FlyQuest, scare them with the secret walk, right? Like when you see, it's a good example. Electronic playing on Na'Vi, always going to secret every round, because if you can get that cross off for free, you might as well take it. But
here we go.
The upper pop.
It's electricity at the fingertips of MIBR. It's limitations with the pistols, and they're already deep inside of the A site. Blink and you'll miss it. FlyQuest trying to seize the momentum off of the last round, and they are met by what seems like the 11th different strategy from MIBR across this T side.
Yeah, the variety, man. It has been an eclectic half here in terms of the approaches and tempos, which is something you absolutely love to see. MIBR have a lot to be proud of so far this game. And if you keep changing the speed of the attack, there will never be the appropriate response and utility. That's the whole point. So in terms of conditioning, MIBR have been successful consistently. You really wear down your opponent when you keep changing up, you keep shifting the gear. Now we're going to lurk. Now we're going to explode.
Oh, yeah. There's been this really flowy call to the T side at the moment. Cannot help but praise it. This one, obviously, we've all been here. Rush A. But it's the fact that they come out after not doing it for 10 rounds, really. And they follow it up with some clean kills to boot. Just when FlyQuest think they find footing, they take a punch to the stomach.
And it would be interesting to know if they had a good read on the money there, of course, like Tech9's coming out.
True.
On the upper site. Did they need to block better?
The most limited round of this T side economically was the last, and MIBR still pull it out of the hat. 4 rounds best case for FlyQuest on their opponent's map pick. A map that FlyQuest played well enough earlier this week to earn some of the praise of our analysts in the pregame. And Sam mentioned it, right? Just this veto alone kind of turned the tide of the conversation and had an uptick in expectations from FlyQuest, but Drop didn't seem convinced. Drop confident before this one goes live. And with this T-half called, I understand. Impressive stuff from MIBR, looking to ice it out with a 9th.
They saw the same things we did, you know. Everybody saw FlyQuest play big on Nuke. We saw how impressive it was. The only thing that we can't see is how much veto prep was done the night before. You know, was there some really cutting analysis that identified some obvious problems, and that's what made Drop scoff at the fact that people were hyped about it? You know, but we're big as good as they could be. Could they have been better on Nuke when they played? Something like when Liquid played Inferno. You know, we knew that their Inferno wasn't actually that good.
Well, speaking of Inferno, up next, pick of FlyQuest. It's been essential to their run in Shanghai thus far. We get down to the final 12 seconds here, folks. I mean, MIBR, talk about crazy. Leaving it to the wire. They're going to try to cross over with the spam through control. Can FlyQuest just stop this bomb plant? All you got to do, and there's not even a smoke. Come on.
Okay.
We try to sing the praise of this T side, and you end it on that.
Okay, all right. All good.
We said, hey, they've been doing a really good job of playing with the tempo and the speed,
guys,
but
the GOAT Nuke team right here.
They forgot about the clock. Not even a smoke to cover it. That's crazy.
Hey, but you know what? Forgetting about the clock when you're up in an 8-4 situation at the end of the half. Your T side's fine. If you're supposed to be the underdog coming into Nuke, you have exceeded expectations. You got to feel pretty happy about that. It's not a nice way to end, but numerically, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's past them now. We're on day 4. That half is never going to have to be played again. Job done. It's FlyQuest who are going to be embittered by the fact that they only got 4 on their CT side. And the fact that they lost to that, right? The fact that they only got 4 rounds versus a team that just lost to the clock, even when they had such a good half overall.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I forgot about the clock. I was thinking about my other 8 T round wins. Oops. Can't be too upset about it. You do that in round 5, we laugh at you.
Yeah.
You do it in the last round, forget about it.
Yeah, if it happened earlier on, it definitely would have been something we harped on. So, okay, FlyQuest, your turn to show us what you're made of here. T-side, Nuke.
Instant squeaky blown off the hinges, smoke towards main, and Insani looking for a gunfight in the doorway. Luckily for him, CT smoke goes down. That's going to cool the jets of FlyQuest. They're going to just try to charge in, and it costs them Vexite, 1 player down through the vent, and Liaz gets cut off, but he cuts 2 heads off clean. Lukowski there could be his 3rd. It's a man advantage for FlyQuest, and the bomb is downstairs alone. It actually starts to move towards Secret. It's going to attempt to come back and join forces with FlyQuest on A, but by the time it gets
they
here...
don't have A.
Exactly. They could have already lost these players, so now Ince doesn't have the footing of an early B hit. They're going to go for an outer wrap, which is heard by Safe. The bomb's now spotted towards Secret. This is getting so weird.
Yeah, and there's a tag on the player who's going towards Heaven. He might think that he got by without making any noise to anybody, but now Drop kills Dexter as they're waiting. They had Heaven for a moment, and that's why you'd want to take upper here, though. You've lost your advantages.
It feels like that double kill from Liaz actually maybe turns into a bit of a curse. It feels like surely that's the one thing that calls FlyQuest back up to A.
And the problem is you leave him in the spot that he just got his 2 kills, and there's nothing new in Squeaky. So it's just a matter of time before MIBR puts some pressure back, right? I think the issue is obviously they want to adapt to the situation. They can't get Liaz downstairs.
Sure.
Bombs by itself. They don't know who else is there.
So eventually Alistair is able to walk out through hut. He was on the rooftop spotting. Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful shot on LuCaoZ. Safe. Gonna blindside him. And if Hand's busy, In's able to dive back to hut, so it seemed. He goes for the Safe fight, down to 44. Eventually, Drop's gonna get into the engagement, but God. Safe wins it before he even arrives. Safe doing it on his own. 2 kills to his name in the 2v2 to close this, and MIBR's 8th goes to a 9th off second pistol.
Yeah, this one's really brutal. This one's really brutal. The well was poisoned, right? It's a situation like how do you not think, okay, we've just taken out 2 up-rankers off this great 2K. Let's support him. Let's try to get upstairs. But if the bomb hadn't dropped already, it would have been a way better situation to try to do this. Nice! But it's credit to MIBR once again. They didn't let their problem fester. They made sure to deal with it as soon as they could.
Yeah, cleaned the wound. Re-engaged with the squeaky door, made sure Liaz stopped after 2. It's a really slippery vent. You gotta...
Something.
Here we go, charge forward with the lesser guns. The Force trying to shift the momentum. It's gonna have to be a seismic shift with how many CTs are backside. Util certainly helps. Insani gets stuck, but Safe comes out from heaven.
And he stays alive.
Wow, fighting fire with fire. MIBR looking like they were on the back foot there for a second despite facing Tech 9s, but now they face it again. They just take the action to the Ts, who are attempting to puncture through despite this disadvantage of a 4-10 lead now. MIBR happy, content to get into these gunfights and not let these Ts kind of get off into the shadows.
Yeah.
Making sure that they don't become unaware of what remains of FlyQuest so that they can end map 1 easily.
It might be easy, man. I don't know. We've got no one positive right now for FlyQuest. No one at 10 kills just yet. And MIBR have another round to farm. We'll see if we've got some creative eco idea with the flashbangs and Molly on Dexter.
FlyQuest better hope to God that Inferno's got something in store for us. Their nuke got laughed at by Drop, and so will this ramp hit. Nothing.
Clothesline.
Nothing.
It's the full house between Drop and Safe.
Ooh. For good measure. Can't let him get back up. I mean, Drop back in the pistol round when he wins the clutch as well. Round 1 starts shooting bodies. Well, he loses the round, but... or rather, excuse me, dies to the bomb.
I mean, one last big idea here, and, you know, that's it. Dexter looks at this buy, and he says, as the captain of the team right now, we might not see AKs again for a bit.
Try to leave it all out here. LuCaoZ, no way! Wow. Talk about ambitious.
Getting the dink in that situation's a small victory.
Sonny trying to zone them through smoke. This curious wall of utility. What's behind it? He has to ask. Drop on the vent ladder, trying to get out the tag players right there. Oh, they're trying to walk through smokes. A third player emerges, completely covered by exit. No, not again. They're still going to try to pounce. Liaz in a 1v4 comes out from smoke, completely held back. In what world does that work?
Because they killed LuCaoZ on the squeaky push. They thought it was totally empty. And honestly, Drop's coming up the vent. They could have got lucky and killed him, but Insani had just cleared out outside. They threw a smoke to make it look like they were wrapping. After their cross smokes came out, Insani was already in front of it. He saw that that was a total bluff. There was no one in the yard at all. So he decided to push inside and instantly caught him off guard. I think when the tactic failed right there and they got spotted, they should have definitely canceled. That was such a high-risk play. This is a full buy, all their utility, all their money. And now they're staring at map point. That's a crazy thing to put it all on.
That's the one gun round you're going to get at this point. That's the one gun round you were guaranteed. And you decide to go 4 players out squeaky. Could have cut your losses after the first. Could have caught your losses after the second.
Yeah, committing over and over again. Sort of a gambler's fallacy there. They didn't want to reset. It would have been a hard round if they did, but obviously that looks so silly from our perspective. It wasn't just one player they had to trade out.
Yeah.
Even in the kill feed, it was 3 players.
Yeah, they were really convinced that that setup was nowhere near as strong as it truly was.
At least Galils are on sale. They've got 4 of them. But this has been a tragic game here for FlyQuest. All roses here for MIBR.
MongolZ killing Vexite right before that smoke pop, so he gets contact to it. They're going to try to get ahead of the ramp Molotov, and sure enough, Ince now posting on an angle that could and will net him a headshot. It's a silver lining in a desperate situation, in a near foregone conclusion of map 1 on Nuke, but Dexter's going to be found out in the corner. Sure, you have enveloped this lower bomb site, but you know that with the pace MIBR have thrown out throughout this map, they are going to quickly be on top of you. Retake, no doubt, inbound, flash deep for the stairs, and Sonny into the corner, awkward jump, still kills 2!
Oh, he's insane.
And so Liaz, with 5 kills to his name, will have to remain back sight, sitting on the rafters with a hope of keeping map 1 alive. Wallbangs from down beneath him. His first fight doesn't repeat. MIBR. Wow.
Wow. I mean, Scorny said it there. Wow.
You know, they say it's always great to start off your morning with a nice, well-balanced breakfast. You know, you get a little bit of all your food groups, and you just kick off your day.
MIBR and FlyQuest map 2, the timer lied. Here you go, pistols ready, folks, and that means MIBR are very ready after a convincing victory back on Nuke. How do you feel about this series, Mohan?
Not feeling great for FlyQuest on a fundamental level. Not feeling great about the fact that they let Nuke go like that. And as Kerrigan once aptly pointed out, if you're going to lose, still make it close. And they couldn't do that, and I think they were trying their hardest. So. I mean, conversely, though, pretty excited about MIBR. There were some amazing individual plays that game. I think that they, as the quote-unquote maybe underdog team on Nuke in this matchup specifically, I think punched well above their weight. If they showed up with a game plan today, they came to win and qualify to the next stage. They have shown that they have really put that effort in. They're in the right mental mindset, and their individuals are shining.
MongolZ, exit. They hold the top of brackets, and still there's a chance in, or so there was. Losing apartments doesn't make this any more comfortable. Safe able to get into the pit, but it's a good flashbang to disrupt him. He's got a teammate behind the tall box. That teammate finds 2 more MongolZ. A double from the tall box. In all of that battle, he had just snuck into what was left of FlyQuest, and then they're going to keep this charge forward. Now, this has been going on what felt like all Nuke long. MIBR really being adamant about not letting FlyQuest players get away. In this case, Dexter does get a chance to exit. Softens himself up a little bit. Self-hate never gets you far. But they do indeed disengage. Just snuck into what was left of FlyQuest, and then they're going to keep this charge forward. Now, this has been going on what felt like all Nuke long. MIBR really being adamant about not letting FlyQuest players get away. In this case, Dexter does get a chance to exit. Softens himself up a little bit. Self-hate never gets you far. But they do indeed disengage. Just in case he had stayed around in the apartments, they think maybe it is an A intended target, that his rotation was a fake. Not the case. Bomb will go down. Dexter, how do you pull off a critical 1v2?
Yeah, it's one where you can play it from anywhere, and since you're in the 1v2, you should sort of at least assume you can have an open plant here. No one's rotated over. Smartly, MIBR just play it together. They're going to lose a few seconds having to run back to the B site. And Dexter, let's see if you can hear some footsteps.
They're not trying to mask their approach. They're just jumping in to figure out where he's at. That's why, dude.
They just jump.
Confidence in the mechanics, straight up. They just charge him down.
It's really important to jump, actually, when you're in an approach like that. Oftentimes, if two people try to go for the same kill, standard swings, that's where perfect crosshair placement comes in. But, you know, if you're like entering ramp on Nuke, the first guy's jumping out backwards. If you're in a 2v1 like this and you have an idea of where the guy is, you're technically not supposed to be going for the exact same peak on the exact same angle, and you can see how hard they were to hit.
Especially
with
one
shot that goes out. Yes, Dexter could have hit that. It would have been amazing. But most of the time, he's not going to hit it, and then his position's revealed, and his advantage is gone. So MIBR just very comfortable at moving at that pace together. They pull off that 2v1. Lucalzi pulls off that 2K in the middle of the round. And, yeah, it's another good start.
Pistols just continue to get swept away by MIBR. I think the time to kill as well in that, right? You know, Dexter has a chance. You mentioned good decision on the approach to kind of offset his chances, but it's also just an instant Beretta's headshot, and I feel like that's been MIBR's kind of overt advantage so far in this series, dude. They are hitting hard.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, like, I don't know. You can really see when a team is just focused on the goal. They're not really focused on the pressure. They're not really focused on, like, how it would look if they lose. You can see when a team is just here to literally win every round, and that's what we're getting out of MIBR right now. Like, we saw one moment at the end of the first half on Nuke where it kind of exposed that they're actually not that confident in everything they do. They had the map control and everything. They lost time. But they were up 8-4. They crushed that second half. When it came to focusing on their crosshair and the round, they're present. You can definitely see when the pressure's getting to FlyQuest.
Exec smoke around for brackets, of course. Moto smoke up from the CTs. But eventually that's going to expire, and when it does, this balcony position was going to be compromised. So Safe decides now's the time to make a move. He pushes into Liaz with success, and then they still just try to charge through smokes, and it's no problem for Lucalzi and Safe. It's no problem for MIBR. Across the board, each defender in position survives the test of the force buy. FlyQuest, you gotta bring something else to the table.
That's a great setup for the wrap. If you have someone inside of halls, you can die in the halls, but with the crossfire setup, they have someone watching lane, someone watching arch, both on boosted boxes, full vision, cover each other. The guy who's playing cold is not exposed to coming out from anyone coming out of lane or anybody coming out of halls. And then the guy who's backside has a great angle to fight halls and lane at the same time. It's just super solid. And when MIBR get the first kill with the MP9 push, you pretty much know it's done. So, yeah. You know, that moment of running through a smoke might be more forgivable, but we've already seen them do that way too much.
It's a bit of a sour note. But that'll make up for it. Beautiful kill from Ince. Instant Tech-9 headshot. Utility goes down to make sure nobody can just flood in, and that'll give a little time for MIBR to reposition their defense, and in doing so, Liaz will get clipped in an attempt to come out Balk. Exit opts to re-attack, and yeah, it's all good. Safe just tethering so nicely here, moving around that entire site, dude. This entire map, right? We saw it back on Nuke, constantly re-aggressing, side by side, constantly keeping the pressure up so that FlyQuest can't seep through any potential cracks. The cracks fight back, and it's a crack of the whip from Exit's Tech-9 to just give them a taste of their own medicine.
You know, if we look historically at matches like this, it could be a game where MIBR have an amazing CT side, and if FlyQuest finally wake up and the pressure is relieved because they realize they're probably going to lose anyway, we might see some sort of cosmetic comeback. What you want to see instead is FlyQuest just wake up early, man. Realize that people have them as a favorite in this series right now, and what they've done so far in the stage is breaking ground for this lineup, you know, this new generation of Australian talent. And I just really, you can really just feel that pressure, the day 4 pressure. You know that everybody is watching this game.
First gun round. It's a setup at the base of B. They're on the other end of the smoke, and the spray down gets there in the end.
Don't commit through the smoke.
A little MP9 support to finish off what wasn't the cleanest spray from Insani, but look at all the damage.
They hate losing one player in the smoke. They hate when they lose one player in the smoke. They have to send a second. They have to send a third. At least they restrain themselves here.
More often than not, though, it just ends up costing them more than the one. Sunken cost fallacy. If they're not careful, they'll lose the house. Drop, perfect place for the MP9. Ooh, barrel, makes him jump the gun. A little twitchy there from Drop.
Yeah, that was a freebie if you waited it out, so this is a good opportunity here for FlyQuest.
Can't be understated. That early damage versus Insani softens up the B play and safe.
Not a single bullet of damage.
We had sang his praise in terms of tethering off his teammates.
This is a good spot, isn't
Insani, though, best player in the server by far. At the moment, though, bomb still sits at the bottom of B. It's still not making its move. They're worried that Insani had actually pushed down into Banana, so now Exit gets caught off guard. Insani gets clipped back at B. The bomb does still, though, come to the last CT. Dude, it is sketchy, but it's a round win. And if you are FlyQuest, you give them a little of what they gave you.
Okay. Yeah, it's a moment's a miss here for Drop, who tries to pre-fire on the peak, thinking that maybe the guy goes to the other wall, peeks towards me this time around. Could have leaned into it a bit more.
You can't even really blame Exit getting caught by running down mid.
Yeah.
Like that was incredibly hard to get your read of, I think, if you're MIBR.
Yeah, because that player's in there, that position so late into the round. So, all right, FlyQuest, nice. As soon as we get onto guns, they pick one up. And that was 4v5. Nade lands squarely between the knees of Ins. Alistair, that's through the smoke. Safe going down on mid.
Wasn't the cleanest fight from MIBR down Banana 1 round ago. Insani looking for the deeper player.
How's he still alive?
Invites the spray down from Ins, and it's good damage. You're softening up these B plays, but Drop able to clip Dexter in the background. They still think he's in the smoke. Insani, how are you alive?
No!
How are you still standing, brother?
He's so quick, man. He's so quick. He just doesn't give you time to react. I can't believe the initial disengage.
The bomb is in tow with these early setups from FlyQuest. Two players were able to seize the day of the A site. Lukowski spotting the bomb dropping down, but it is low HP despite the 4v3 advantage for MIBR. Do they think they have an edge in the retake attempt?
Oh my god.
They're going to go for the boosted moto. They just crouch walked a player underneath the smoke, and there's a real chance Exit gets this easy kill to Alistair. 10 health for him. He is stuck behind that pillar. They are going to send Insani out first, and that one gets held back by Liaz. It's a good pit anchor, and with the smokes up, with the positioning here from FlyQuest, MIBR have to write off their losses. They send Insani in and look to keep 3 alive as FlyQuest, awkward fights on B, but securing a second round here.
Yeah, another nice recovery.
Oh, at what cost? Oh, 3 players dead.
Ooh, that's actually terrible. The money... the money's actually okay. I mean, that last round, I guess, wasn't too bad. They won it 4v5, and they still kept 3 players alive. So now they come out of this one. It's costly, but there's still a full buy coming in. MIBR, on the other hand, they got themselves out of a terrible situation on Banana. They recovered after the 5v4, got 2 kills back, but with some damage, and FlyQuest found the better side to take. That was A. We're still going to have a strong investment here from MIBR. After that round loss, too, they've done well with the money. Lukowski saving his gun certainly helps. Upgrading it, in fact.
I do feel like MIBR have gotten away with a couple shenanigans on B that could end up costing them one of these early setup rounds. FlyQuest keeping the pressure up. just ins on his own at the moment, but look at all that util damage, man. 3 players nearly half health already. And there has been a narrow margin between some of these moments in the opening 5 rounds. It looks like round 6 will be no different, to the disadvantage of FlyQuest. MIBR going to throw a boost up onto Porch towards A. Emphasis on short when it comes to brackets. But this continuous 3-player setup puts pressure on Insani. Luckily for you, known to deliver. And at the moment, being set up. Drop's going to flash him into Banana, looking to interrupt as the smoke's about to fade on the half wall. Thing is, 5 players ready.
The timing's good. Look at it. They're turning the corner.
They don't quite come around, so he's not able to capitalize with a kill. Doesn't confirm if there's even anybody there, but guess what? It's the whole pack. And so the second flash, just 2 little missed timings, and now he's blind on the fallback. Poor Drop stuck behind New Box with a molly on his feet. This is nice zoning from FlyQuest.
Fully spotted.
Could have gotten absolutely flashed. Instead, they get by both.
They did. I mean, Inns absolutely got that kill blind, I think. Flash popped at the exact same time. A lot of bodies getting shot this game.
Yeah. When it comes to the 2-2 games, we stop pretending to be friends. MIBR let them have it on Nuke, and with the scoreline, I'm sure they felt untouchable, but welcome to a new reality. FlyQuest tying up map 2, and also looking to make sure Majority can't survive, but Lukowski is going to hang on for dear life, keep his head down. All's good. Considering 3 players were at half health out of the round for FlyQuest, that early util damage never came back to haunt them.
That's true.
They just followed through with the banana control. When we go back to Nuke, we talked about in the first half of that game when it really got away from FlyQuest, MIBR's money was just healthy the entire time. Their worst buy, the Tech-9 A rush, they pulled off, add to the tally. Here we go, a chance finally in this series to break MIBR.
Yeah, Lukowski's still on a solo gun is scary. Safe MP9's carried forward as well. Can definitely still do damage. And you know what it is, it's Inferno.
And they go for the double CT boost.
Yes, when you get smoked, if it's the
building pyramids.
Yeah. Oh, the smoke out early. That's interesting. I don't know if that looks like a bluff, but I think it might. They're like, oh, they smoked early, they missed it.
They want them to come in. Also, look, with the gap on that smoke, it's a perfect invitation to go exactly where Safe's watching.
Yeah.
Come on in, boys. Water's warm, and they pick up a second.
And there's another player here, Quad Insani, sitting, waiting with the P250.
They're not going to forget about him. They do try to reboost, and in doing so, they end up losing it. FlyQuest able to recover. I think that smoke is absolutely a bait.
Well, we can see it's a bait, obviously.
Yeah. FlyQuest. Hook, line, and sinker for the opening 2, but
I think definitely the mistake that... Oh, you know what? The bomb's not planted, Connor. The bomb is
but that's
in an awkward spot front grill, and they did such a good job scaling that they haven't gone to pick it up just yet.
There's no way Exit slides this 5-7 in between 2 Ts and robs the round away. He's been spotted. There's no way Lukowski ends up pushing out from CT to stop the player back New Box. There's no way.
Now, it looks like they might try to push in his direction.
They've got a kid as well, man. Lukowski, he's not going to shy away from this.
This is pretty safe. You know, if Exit dies first, this round's over, and Lukowski is waiting for him to find a mistake.
With Majority...
Oh, how'd he get that?
Dude, with Majority pistols, they may not think that they've got a kit, so time can't even be played safely. Lukowski softened up, they win this!
Oh, what?
Lukowski's late rotate through CT with the kit and the solo M4.
Oh, he took a fight with the M4 first? Oh, there was a chance to win that, obviously, and it's over, I guess, either way.
Oh.
But if it's over either way, maybe go for the 5-7 inside of Con. Maybe he thought that Lukowski was low.
The elbow drop from the top rope, double CT cross boost, kicks this off. It was a 3v5 recovery for FlyQuest for a moment.
That's brutal, man.
And then the M4 shows up, bomb that delay.
Yeah.
That delay in bomb was an open invitation for MIBR to stick around, especially with a kit.
Yeah, and it died front grill. A little awkward to try to get it back.
The worst buy that MIBR have had throughout the series, and they still picked it up. FlyQuest cannot buy openings at the moment, and then they walk straight into the op of safe for what's looking like the 5-3 lead.
That's just silly, right? That's just silly. The most natural fallback position for the op, and they just run right into it. Free 2K, and the man advantage just keeps on going here for MIBR.
That was the round you can't afford to lose.
You know what, though? It was if they just played this round a little bit more carefully. They still had enough money for a full buy on this round. But
then this one just gets completely smothered. Skip a step or two. It's going to cost you entirely. Liaz unable to trade. And now we're talking about T's who are back to the save.
MIBR might have had one round they lost the time on Nuke, but there have been way more silly mistakes from FlyQuest. The pressure is real. Oh, I thought he knew Baby Shark too.
I think that was Beethoven's third.
Have you?
Safe.
All right.
Going to demolish the very little that FlyQuest limp into round 9 with. There's still a Deagle out there on the field, a P250 for Liaz, but
honestly, it's best to just feed the opper. Like, yeah. $500, enjoy.
See ya. Nothing to stand on in the 9th.
Oh, Connor.
Yes, sir?
How can they get this close?
At least they didn't get 0-3'd.
At least they didn't get 0-3'd.
We are talking about a FlyQuest as far as...
There is no good result, is there?
No.
Yeah, except for qualifying.
Except for progressing. And
yeah, that's true.
Funnily enough, there was actually more people who had Rare Adam progressing in the 3-1, 3-2 spot than FlyQuest. They were the absolute least chosen team to progress 3-1, 3-2 with 1.3% of players, pick'em players that is, having included them.
I see.
And the second most selected 0-3 team after Rare Adam. So exceeded expectations on an opening day, but it's a tale all too common.
God.
At the Heartbreak Hotel that can be majors.
You know what? This game isn't done, man. It's like, it feels like it is, but stop walking into op shots. You know?
Stop walking through
smokes, yeah.
At least this time it does get traded, so there's a little life left in round 10, but then you get this individual duel towards top banana. And the tethering of the CTs, the tethering of MIBR, it is simply so much better. FlyQuest's buy gets no opening. It is only Lukowski dead in the 10th. Nothing to find, nothing to pull on.
Before this game started, I think I was leaning FlyQuest. Were you?
Yes.
Yeah. I think we're leading FlyQuest. Desk was leading FlyQuest off the veto, and you know, they should be able to draw hope from what they've already shown so far. But now we're just starting to forego discipline in some more standard moments, I guess I want to say here, where, you know, when you play in some weaker regions, sometimes it, you know, even a year or two for MIBR coming out of playing in Brazil consistently, there are going to be a lot of smoke contact plays. There will be some walking into op shots. There will be some re-peeking. There will be overcommitments. There will be a little bit too much of the wide swinging. But what FlyQuest showed us in these last couple of days is that they had that under control, and they were ready to step up to play on the world stage. They were a map away You know, not only were they up 2-0,
yeah,
they won the first map versus Liquid. They were a single map away from getting through this stage, and they didn't do that by playing like this.
Fortunately, that fall off in performance is being capitalized on by MIBR. Tech9's into Banana at the very least. A CT side that awaits them. A couple more rounds to be played, and it's Insani right into the middle of the pack with support from Drop. Nobody dies alone on MIBR. Drop able to bring down a second, third defender empty-handed. That's the difference here from Vexite. Is it enough? Smoke to try to get Alistair over. And he's just going to plant that first orange. Surely the 5-7 doesn't spam him down.
Okay. All right, half's not over. Time to look alive. Low HP here for Vexite and Alistair. No op to use in the post plant, but definitely some good spots to play from.
Yes. We don't want to talk about FlyQuest like their attempt is over. Some of these rounds at times uninspired, some of their mistakes glaring, but this time it is pistols to punish, to puncture through a B site and to keep the hope alive.
Unbreachable, right?
LukeKowzy slides up, gets the first, but back sight's held. Alistair's dead! And LukeKowzy's gonna post another clutch, his 12th and 13th frag, and a reminder to the promise that he brings to the server, that he brings to Brazil.
Oh, they had the perfect high-low setup. They were just so confident. LukeKowzy was once again coming in from CT. They could have just dropped back into Emo. I thought that they'd be fine to try to trade here, but as you can see, it goes deep here from where Alistair is playing, and he doesn't swing out wider, you know, and I think his position was just called.
Every single time FlyQuest seemed to have a moment of hope, it is shattered, smashed. And MIBR's individual level just makes it that much better.
They're doing great.
FlyQuest's moment of glory in 2024 would have been winning Atlanta. Unfortunately for them, the formula that put forth there has not occurred today. Dexter with meteoric impact at that LAN. A reinvented Alistair that looked like he had kind of shaken the doubts. Those important whiffs were not in sight. But all that was in Atlanta. As far as Shanghai goes, this one starts to slip. Flashbang saves the CTs. It's this consistent third piece. It's drop and saves utility that's been keeping Insani alive, but it can't any longer. In's finally able to hunt him down.
That's nice. That's one back. In's still low, but they've actually made some moves here.
We've been talking about FlyQuest trying to come back into this map. Every time there's a glimmer of hope, it's been smashed. And right now, Exit is in a prime position to rob yet another close round away. Liaz into the Moto smoke. His utility clear of the approach, but the top truck player popped, and Exit keeps his head down. He will get cleared by Liaz, but with nothing else to play for, MIBR, this 2v3 retake will be attempted in a moment once that second player arrives. Safe keeps up some pressure, carving an early path through the brackets as Ince goes for that apartments rotation. He's low HP to try and play a post plant, but the bomb is planted along the far wall. He'll have to super wide swing all the way out and exposed if he wants to try to cover.
And no nade, so
oh, surely. He can't. Safe, anticipating it. There is the apartments play. Drop's gonna have to clear corner up close. They're down. FlyQuest, so many close calls, and finally a fourth. But now having to bank on a CT side on their map pick. Yeah. It's that or it's elimination.
Yes, and you know what? There's nothing else to do today. This is day 4, all eyes on you. No other games in the world happening. It is a chance to perform a comeback, and you have to do it. At the very least, you have to try. You know, the only thing that you're going to regret tomorrow morning is thinking about the next day. You've got to focus on now. It's only 4-round lead, right? You played your best CS, you knew it, your teammates believed in each other and the calls from Dexter, and you kept your discipline in check. You know you have a chance. So really comes down to focus. MIBR have all the belief right now. They've shown us everything to give us, to earn our praise, our compliments. They're punching up. They were doubted. They've already succeeded on Nuke. They just have to keep doing what they're doing.
They turned heads back at the RMRs when they were able to best complexity in a best of 3, securing one of the first 2 spots in Shanghai for the Americas representatives. An RMR that was shook up at a stage of the major that has had the Americas region painted across it as of late at the expense of European representation. MIBR looking to lock in another spot for Brazil. There is not a moment of self-doubt for the Brazilians in the server today. Not yet. A second pistol demanded of FlyQuest. 2 more rounds that could have been on close calls, but weren't for the Aussies. And Dexter's going to make first contact down Banana.
Yeah, he's a solo spot.
It's a dangerous one.
Pushing it back. He plays it well, though.
Exit's going to maintain flank control, but there is this pack of players prodding down the middle of the map. FlyQuest trying to get in behind what's looking like a likely commitment from MIBR.
Flash.
Beautiful from Safe. Again, the utility tethering between the Brazilians is just so good. And then they go through. CT Smoke can't hold, drop back, and Dexter gets turned on. Every step of the way, MIBR are better.
That's the nastiest round so far. Ooh, they get the gush off on Dexter the whole while. Exit, perfect communication at the bottom of Banana. The flash is a pop flash, ready for him to reaggress. As soon as they're about to turn the corner, they know the retake setup. Their timing's extraordinary, and Exit comes out ahead on 2 kills. That's one where you don't go, oh, FlyQuest, why couldn't you? That's when you go, MIBR, you guys are sick. They understood the assignment today. And drop scoffing before the game start makes so much more sense now that we see him in action.
No interruption for the Banana control. MIBR are going to be afforded a full-blown execute. You see the smoke grenades being primed, and the first scout shot out of Dexter is a miss. A miss that cannot be afforded anymore.
This is how you come through a smoke.
But they did miss a Molotov, so that is a bit more room for Vexite to wiggle within. Dexter, it's a one and done. 5-7 from the pocket. He anticipates somebody going over, not the case. Rotation from CT for Alistair to try and gain vision, but it's instantly taken back from him. And Lukowski will remain perched above the CT retake smoke. There is nobody blocked by that Banana util. MIBR sit inside of this bomb site, awaiting what remains here of FlyQuest. A mere 4 rounds away from top 16. Lukowski confident to just hold this coffin smoke. He can feel that they are coming at him, and they will try desperately to emerge, but they do so with some success. The Nubox player sprays away, and Exit ends this, his 12th and MIBR's 10th.
Okay, close call after image flash nearly helps displace the aim enough for FlyQuest to win that retake, but not today. MIBR 10 rounds, they survive that anti-force buy, and now FlyQuest are once again without money.
Straight back to Banana, straight back to the bullying, the battering and the bruising of the B site. And Sonny left over to his own devices. Just don't get killed by pistols. We haven't seen rounds like this get pulled off by FlyQuest. MIBR have been excellent in terms of avoiding it. It has been clear since the get-go of Nuke that their approach on these sorts of rounds was to minimize mistakes, and off of the Insani entry, B site is now clear for the taking. Ints will emerge through a smoke, held by Drop again and again, and although he falters, so be it. Bomb to be planted on B. The form that MIBR brought out of the Americas RMR was one that had the pundits talking. In anticipation of the actual major, some had them to progress. Pain and FURIA take those first 2 spots, and now MIBR seek to join them.
These stages of the majors are just 1s and 0s. You qualify or you don't. There is no difference between going 0-2 or 0-3 or 2-3. Just didn't make it, unfortunately, and that's just the reality of this position. And that's something that MIBR understand, it seems like, acutely. They understood the assignment. They showed up to do a job today. They're here to impress. And maybe, you know, maybe not too many people have MIBR making it through to playoffs. That might be fair to say. You know, whoever wins this game, it's not as if they have a massive chance to get by that position. And you know what? You know, the important part is having the extra spots. The important part is the pride, which I think has got to be the most important part. If you're not playing for anything else, I don't know. Obviously, getting to the major feels like the biggest accomplishment for teams like this. But MIBR being able to say that they've made it through to the elimination stage, I mean, that is a different level of brag, you know? MIBR are a team that the best version of this lineup had Stewie and Tarek on it, you know? That's the only trophy that they ever won. Zotac Masters Hong Kong. Okay? Since then, they have been in a rebuilding phase. That was with Fallen.
You're pulling out the ancient scrolls for this one.
That's the only scroll that this team has ever seen. So, and in a sea now of great Brazilian teams,
yes,
flooding this stage of the major, they're trying to stand out and revive a brand that has history in CS beyond CSGO.
A gun round for FlyQuest to try and hold them back, but all series long, you have not been able to hold back MIBR at all. Drop takes damage towards A site. They do indeed lose LuCaoZ, who was trying to get active over towards the arch wrap. But this B site, is it enough? Can Vexite truly hold this on his own? He's got an incendiary, but he keeps the gun out. In the possibility of the pop, the flashbang's good again! And there's the spray out from Ince. He wants to keep the pressure up with Util, but that has afforded a crossover from Safe. Bomb, though, still back on Banana and incredibly low. Drop. It's a desperate attempt to get through unscathed. He does not have a lot of health to work with, but what he can do is put Exit into a post plant and a potential for the 1v3 if the low health falters. And Incendiary still on drop. If he wanted to slow down the retake, he could have. Oh, but Wild Blind! He tries to set up Exit.
And Exit has HP. Now, does he have the lineup? It's a standard plant behind the smoke at the moment.
He goes back to check Banana. Into the action. Alistair on the cross. That's the offer spotted. And while he pops the one on site, there's something of a moment of hope here for FlyQuest. A rifle round one, despite a single player living.
Yeah. I think, gotta say thanks to Inz on the cross, putting the damage through. A little bit nervous when he didn't do the jumping molly to default and threw that into pit early, allowed the plant to go down, but because he got the early kill, slowed them down, allowed for rotations to come through. It was left in the right hands. FlyQuest, at least here, now have 5 and can try to scramble for some dignity with a goodbye behind them. It looks like MIBR are forcing down. I think that
they've earned it.
They've earned it. Yeah, they have also. I already see a MAC-10 and a AK to work with, and I think we can also safely say at this point their flashes have been better.
Yeah, we see another moment of it. Vexite trying to climb up orange, you know, just gets caught.
It's genius or madness when you come through a smoke, and MIBR have come through a smoke many times. But I would say 80+% of the time, the player they first see is blind. Whereas when we saw the same thing from FlyQuest, it was just the easiest 2K spray down on 2 players running through a disadvantaged situation that you could have ever seen.
We had sang the praise of MIBR earlier in this series in terms of tempo change. Let's see if this majority MAC-10 buy features exactly that. LuCaoZ caught on Arch in the early opening seconds, but it looks like Banana's going to be the hit. Dexter's got to be ready. He's not. The MAC-10 completely tears him apart.
Keep running.
Flesh from bone.
Oh, that's all you need, is it?
Absolutely smothered. Off of the back of the only feels-good moment for FlyQuest, that 1vX that once was. It is a short-lived moment of respite from the pressure of MIBR.
Oh, man.
Attempt your save. Cut your losses.
That's what happened on Nuke, right? The one time they got into a lower buy, they did
smash.
an upper pop and smashed it. They literally kept it as simple as possible, and this is where they're terrifying, right? This is where they've got the entries that will absolutely knock your socks off, and yeah.
You know they're going to try to come hunt this save. This is going to be a critical save. They'll throw themselves at it. They've still got SMGs to lose. All three players looking to hang on, and it looks good. Ince hangs in. Oh, and gets himself a second.
Nice.
But it is the slimmest of silver linings here as MIBR take to a 12th.
I think in any other situation in the middle of a half, like, we don't even have MIBR hunting because they are spending almost all their money, but now they only need one round, so it doesn't matter. They could have had the easiest setup ever versus FlyQuest, but FlyQuest retain their op. They have a full buy. It's only terrible in the fashion in which they lose right there, but, you know, right now, you've got two players. Oh,
nice pressure. Ince isn't going to shy away from it, but it also is an open invitation for the follow-up of Made in Brazil. Ince forced out, but Wild Blind. Drop is still able to get back man advantage, and the pressure will not stop. The onslaught continues. Three players emphasizing short. Liaz looking somehow to recover. It's a slide out from Drop. It's another assist off of the flashbang. Drop looking to be the difference maker inside sight. He's got Insani right behind him. More America's teams than ever. And for the second time in history, 3 Brazilian teams will step forward into the top 16. But those two moments in history, back to back. It was slots given to the Americas region by Brazil in Copenhagen. They opened the door for their countrymen to step forth, and at the falling of Imperial, forth goes MIBR, led by Insani at his first major.
slaughter.
I love the last little bit there. You heard Launders, slaughter. And you can see what that slaughter did as we see the visions of FlyQuest.